Are we on? Okay. All right, you guys, I wanted to welcome you all to our July You C.A.R.E Series. Thank you so much for coming and spending your evening with us. We really do enjoy being able to offer these seminars and help teach pet owners how to be even more amazing pet owners. That's our favorite thing to do. So thank you again for coming to join us. And for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, we hope that you learn a little something today about how you can help volunteer in your community with your pets. We've got Dr. Lindsay Wright, who's our resident expert and medical director, that's going to be with a few of our visitors and volunteers, educating you on different ways that you can volunteer with your pets in our community. So without any other delays, we'll turn this over to Dr. Lindsay Wright.
Perfect. Oh yeah, I got my mic on. All right, so we're getting started today. So this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I think that this is something that since I've graduated from vet school, you know, always trying to find a way that we can make our world a little bit of a better place. And what better ways to do that than volunteering with your pets? So these are just a sample. Come on and join us. Just a sample of a few things that I came up with that you can do in our area to volunteer with your pet. And we have a few experts that are from some of our local volunteer organizations that are going to share their experiences and their expertise with us as well. So we're going to talk about a few different things, and as I go through each of these topics and things, we'll kind of give you an idea of what does that volunteer opportunity look like, and who do you need to talk to if you're interested in joining in one of these opportunities. So the first one that I'm going to talk a little bit about is blood donation. Then we're going to talk about therapy animals. A personal hobby of mine, which is charity fun runs and things like that. Local animal rescue organizations, and Utah is amazing. Salt Lake has so many rescues and things that you can be a part of with or without your pet. And then one that I think is a good experience for all dogs, which is becoming what's called a canine good citizen, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So blood donation is one that's really fun. This is a group that I came across when I was actually in veterinary school. So Canine Blood Heroes is an organization that partners with pet owners to collect blood. And this blood is actually stored at one of the emergency hospitals, ABC, that's on 33rd South in Salt Lake. And what they do is they're a storage facility for dog blood, just like the blood bank would be for humans. So if a dog is hit by a car or has, cats and dogs can be donors. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about the dog portion today. And the really cool thing too is if your dog is a blood donor, they make a donation to your veterinary hospital in your pet's name, so you can use those funds in the future for veterinary care. So we actually have a little blood donor. Carrie, if you want to wave a little bit, we have a blood donor in the So they do them up at Mountain West, which is in Layton. They do these blood typing events at ABC as well. And if your dog meets these criteria and you're interested in donating, you go to the blood typing event and they blood type your dog, and that allows them to know what type of dog has and if they would be able to be a donor. It's not working. Okay, we're still having technical difficulties. Sorry, Facebook Live crew. So once they type your dog and they know, yes, this dog's a really good candidate to be a donor, then they start coordinating donations. Okay. What does blood donation look like? Because this is a question, until I had witnessed it, I was like, I wonder what that looks like. I know what human blood donation looks like, and it looks very similar. So we actually fast dogs before donation for 10 to 12 hours. The whole procedure only takes 15 to 30 minutes, just depending on the dog's temperament and things like that. Sedation is rarely needed. Typically, they'll lay on their sides on a soft padded blanket, and they'll just do a little local numbing, either spray or cream on the area that they draw the blood from. And it's typically drawn from the big vein in the neck, which is called the jugular vein. Our greyhounds are very popular blood donors because they have these beautiful long necks, and they also have higher than normal red blood cell counts, which is normal for their breed, but what makes them such an excellent donor. And then the area is cleaned very well, and then a needle is placed into the vein, and that's how they draw the blood through a special filter. And then afterwards, they get a cookie and a little snack, and then they get to go home. Typically, whenever a dog donates blood, they also are given fluids as well to rehydrate and replace that blood volume, because typically they're drawing about 450 milliliters of blood each time they're donating. That's going to vary a little bit on the dog's temperament, and then also basically how the dog is, the dog's body size as well. And then the catheter gets taken out, and then they get to go home. And I think this is really, really cool. So when I was looking up some blood donation statistics, so one donor dog who donates 4 times a year can save 12 dogs. I think that's so awesome. So how many times have you guys donated, Carrie?
Since I've adopted her.
I'm going to run over.
Yours is working now too.
Oh, hey, there we go. Casey, you're running. I'm going to have Casey on my mic.
So I adopted her in November, so I've only done it a few times with her, but previous to that, she's been doing it for over a year here in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And
It's really, really cool, though. So if you don't mind just sharing a little bit about your experience and how things have gone when you've taken her for donation.
Okay. Well, first of all, I had a lab greyhound in the past, and unfortunately, I didn't find out about this program until he was way too old to donate. He passed away at 13, and by the time I found out about this, he was past the 7-year mark. But my friends with greyhounds have been doing it for a while, and greyhounds, from what I understand, are also normally universal blood type,
Yep.
so that's why they're popular as well. But we just go in about every 6 to 8 weeks. They text me and say, hey, can you come in on this day? That's when we're going to be here. And we go, and sometimes I stay. It takes 20 minutes. Sometimes if I have to be to work, she'll just hang out there during the day, and I'll pick her up later. With the temperament, like I said, she's super chill, so it doesn't bother her at all. And then she always gets special treats on the way home. So she likes donation day, because donation day is also hamburger day.
Oh, it's hamburger day.
Yes.
That's
And I found out that
nice.
her other greyhound friends apparently get more hamburgers than she does, so we might have to up the hamburger order on the way home.
That's too funny.
But yeah, it's like I said, I just take her in there, and they just text me and schedule it, and super simple.
And it's really nice too. So how you can get involved. So Canine Blood Heroes has a Facebook page. And join the Canine Blood Heroes Salt Lake Facebook page. But Crystalline is the Salt Lake coordinator. She's actually a cardiologist technician down at ABC. But she has said that it's okay for me to share. This is her phone number if you would like to get involved in things. But the best way to get started too, if you're interested, is to just go to one of the typing days, because they're going to want to do the typing and things and make sure your pet meets all the criteria before they set you up for donation. But a really cool way to save a life. And there's so many dogs that can use that blood as well.
Is there the same types of blood for dogs?
So there are different types of canine blood. So what they'll do is they'll type and they'll find out what is most in need, because there are certain types of blood that are more common than others. And then what they'll do is they'll bank the blood. And then when a dog needs a transfusion, the good news is when a dog first gets a transfusion, almost all transfusions go fine the very first time. It's if they need that second transfusion that we have to worry a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They've actually asked us to spread the greyhounds out a little bit, and not house all of them today.
Yeah.
Just because of that need.
Mm-hmm.
All coming in. We walked in, I think, for 13 today.
Yeah. So Carrie was just saying that with the canine blood donation, because many of the greyhounds are universal donors, meaning they can give their blood to anyone, they kind of have a schedule where they vary when they come in, because they always need their blood.
Like the dog blood is the same as the human blood. Do you want to repeat that?
With the dog blood, is it A as well as B and or universal? It's the same as human blood, right?
They're slightly different, but similar classes of canine and canine blood as humans. So we have different A and B, and then the ABs as well. So there are those types of dogs that have certain types of bloods that are safe for them, and then others that are not safe. So that's when they do the typing, they find out what type of dog your blood has, because some types are more common than others. So they know when and who to call should a specific dog need blood too, because they can even do, if they have a dog that has a rare blood type that needs a transfusion, they can look on their list to see what donor dog has that blood, so they can coordinate a transfusion, which is really, really nice. Yeah. Okay. But a really cool thing that I wanted to introduce, so this is another really fun one. So this is our therapy animals. So we're really fortunate because we have 2 volunteers from ITA that are here. So they're going to tell us a little bit about their experience with Intermountain therapy animals and tell us about how they got started. And then I do have some information as well on what to look for in their website and things, so that way you can get involved, because this is a really fun way to volunteer with your pet. And this is just a small list of the different places that they volunteer, and it's everywhere. So do you guys want to come up, Debbie and Erica? All right. And we'll just let them kind of pass the mic. And then, all right. So these are 2 of our longtime client and friends. They have some of the sweetest pups around. And you guys, how long have you been? Over 20 years, right?
I've been doing 17 years.
I was
with
going to say,
ITA.
it's a long time. 12. Okay. So go ahead, ladies.
So I got started with an ITA when I was raising guide dog puppies, and the friend who got me involved in raising guide dogs had a dog that was career changed. And this dog went everywhere with her during the training process. So when she was career changed and she adopted her, the dog kind of got depressed. It needed some work to do. So she found ITA, and she said, I think your dog would be a good therapy animal. At the time I had this little shaggy terrier, Maggie. And so we tested together, and I got involved, and that was in 2002. I'm on my 6th therapy dog now. Her name is Annabelle. She's a golden doodle. She's been doing this for almost 2 years. And I've had 2 at a time at sometimes. But to be tested, a dog has, and I'm going to talk dogs because that's what I'm familiar with. Yeah, they have to be at least 18 months old and live with you for at least 6 months. So when we got Annabelle, she was 18 months old. But I used that 6 months to get to know her, to go to obedience classes. We did the CGC, which is very similar to the testing that you do for ITA. So if you want to see if your dog has what it takes, go find the Canine Good Citizen somewhere, which you're going to talk about later.
I'll tell you where to go.
Okay. And find out if your dog has what it takes to do pet therapy. Then once you go to the testing with your dog, well, first you have to go through a workshop for yourself, learn about pet therapy, how we can help people, where you can go, how to prepare for a visit, and so on. And then the 30-minute evaluation with your dog is going to be obedience, temperament, and they're just going to see, does your dog appreciate the interaction? Are they fearful, aggressive, vocal, or out of control, which they don't want you to be, of course. We test every 2 years because sometimes a dog changes or we're not diligent about the training process. And so we may not pass the second time we do this, and it always makes us nervous. So we do the best we can about that. Before each visit, we have to prepare our dogs. They have to be clean. We brush their teeth and clean their ears right before we go anywhere so that they're always as clean as possible. Have a bath. So, want to tell you about your dog?
Well, you may think that you don't have the perfect dog and you don't need a perfect dog. I've been helping with the testing for 12 years and I've seen all kinds of dogs pass the test and some very favorite kinds not pass the test. So it's all about the bond that you have with your animal and the preparation and the socialization that you have. We have Rottweilers and Pit Bulls and German Shepherds and Dobermans and everything else under the sun that you could possibly imagine. It's all about the individual dog and the relationship that you have with the dog. And then when you look at the list that was just up there of all the places that we go, it's not just the patient that benefits from us. Imagine, I go to Ogden Regional in Ogden, my dog goes to the ICU, which is astounding to me, being European, that you can do that. And we go, and sometimes they may be harvesting organs, so obviously that is not for the patient, but imagine the family with children there, or the staff. So we impact probably as much other people in that facility, like we see the same staff every week. And so it's not just one person that we impact, but everybody around that. So you're having a huge influence. We've seen patients that were severely disabled, severely disfigured, that did not want a human being in the room, but really liked the dog. He was a veteran at the veterans home, refused to see anybody. Nobody could come into that room. But the dog, he wanted a dog. So I had to walk in backwards at first so I wouldn't see how disfigured he was. And then he established a relationship with the dog. And after a while, he forgot about me. So we saw him every week for a year. And it made a huge difference. It was the only living being in his life that he could relate to. So we could go on forever. We could write books.
Tell them about your dog.
Oh.
I have 2 Great Pyrenees, and my current one is a rescue.
Oh.
So she fits in nicely.
I love
She was in the shelter in Salt Lake. We don't know what happened to her, but she's been with me. She passed the test. She loves to visit. She is a little fearful of loud noises and huge crowds, so we go to behavioral health, we go to the psychiatric unit, and we go to a residential drug treatment where the people are there for 4 weeks and the only person they see is the 4-legged dog. They don't see family, and so they bond with the dog because we see him for 4 weeks running. And the impact they have is huge. It's huge. We've seen several of them in the street since, and of course I'm not allowed to recognize them because of HIPAA. And I always warn them, if you see us, Ogden is a small town, I cannot say anything, but you're welcome to approach us. And Daisy, my dog, wags her tail, look, there's somebody we know. And it says, oh, you just can't, and they don't talk to me, they talk to the dog and say, give her a big hug, you just can't imagine, I've missed you and how much it means. And I always tell them, she was in a really bad place a year ago. She was a street dog, she was almost dead, and here she is, happy and healthy and helping other people. There's hope, there's hope. And so these dogs have a huge, huge impact. So if you have a dog that's in any way suitable that you think might want to do that job, we've got all the information there with web pages and everything. So, and you're welcome to contact us too.
And also I want to say there are other animals besides dogs that do this. There's cats and bunnies and rabbits.
Guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen a hairless rat. Yes, a miniature horse. So, and if you think you may not feel comfortable doing this, think again, because the dog's going to get most of the attention. So, and it's great. It's great satisfaction sharing your dog with someone who gets some benefit from it. And there's cards up here if you'd like to take one at the end.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. And I did pull a little bit more information from their website as well that walks you, and the steps are nice and clear on the website. So if you go to the ITA website, so if you just put in ITA Salt Lake or ITA Utah, it will bring up their website and you walk through the steps. And then they can actually you can call to make an appointment and things. And then I also did just share some information on upcoming trainings that they have as well. So if you'd like to take a photo of this at all, this has when they're doing their pre-interviews and then the workshops and then testings coming up this fall. And then I just like this was on their website as well. It just talked a little bit about, because I have a lot of pet owners that ask me the differences between service animals and therapy animals and emotional support animals and things, and all of these dogs serve very different purposes in people's lives, but I think it's important to realize the different expectations for these dogs because they're all here for a different reason. Does anyone have any questions for our therapy volunteers or things like that? Okay. I will say too personally, so when I was deployed, so I went to Afghanistan in 2013 and I was stationed in a really remote area in northern Afghanistan, and it was amazing. So there was a dog, his name was Duke. He was a 3-year-old Labrador that was a therapy animal. He was with one of our units, and he would visit different bases, and you knew when Duke was coming because everyone would just flood the airfield because they would just wait for him to get off of the airplane because everybody wanted to see the dog so bad. And they had a tent where he was set up that he was just hanging out, and there'd just be all these big soldiers and stuff just laying on him. It was just the best thing ever, and it really is a morale booster and things for all sorts of people. So that's kind of my personal experience with how much it really impacts just your quality of life and things and those difficult experiences and things. You had a question, Katie. Yay.
So I've actually been thinking about kind of getting my dog trained as one, but for more like personal use. But like hearing them, I want to bring him out. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be awesome. But like, I just had a question. Like, do you guys do training for like personal as well? Like recognizing.
We train our own dogs. They're our own
Okay.
pets. We have to do the training. The organization does the testing.
Okay.
No.
We are responsible for the training.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
with the training, and just for the Facebook Live so everybody could hear, so the training is all done on an owner level. They do have workshops and things that help give you guidance on how to best train your pet. And we'll talk a little bit more about, I agree, Canine Good Citizen is a very good stepping stone to get your dog ready to test for things like this. But all of those training responsibilities and things will be the owner's requirement, and then the organization will do the testing and things. Perfect. All right. We'll go into volunteering with one of our many, many local rescues next. So has anyone ever fostered before? Who's foster failed? Yep. I mean, almost anybody who raised their hand for fostering. So this is just both times. Who was your foster fail?
Rusty and Gidget.
Oh my gosh.
They were both fostered.
Well, they're good foster fails. So this is just one of our many local animal rescues. This is one that we work with each and every day. So they're a fantastic group of volunteers. So the organization is called You.C.A.R.E, and they do a lot of different things within our community. And they have a lot of ways that you can volunteer with or without your pet. And I actually kind of included all of their volunteering options because, you know, for everyone, one option may be better or more applicable for your schedule, but they do a lot of events at local shelters and things. They host events to showcase their adoptable animals, and you can volunteer to tear down or set up. You can also walk dogs during the adoption event or talk to adopters or things like that. Or if a pet person does adopt a pet, you can help get them ready to take that pet home for the day. They also allow fostering, and you'll see my cute little foster that ended up, I didn't fail, but one of my staff did. But you have to be 18 years old to foster for CAUSE. And you have to be living in housing that allows you to have pets. They allow fostering of cats and dogs, and they're always looking for volunteers. They foster everyone from teeny tiny babies all the way up to our senior citizens. And they have a website and then also an email that you can volunteer or ask questions about volunteering. This is our cute little Ari. Kenzie, are you here? Kenzie ended up with Ari, so my dog is the big dog, and then that's my husband, and that's his little mini-me, Aria, that ended up with one of my technicians. They also have cats that go to the local PetSmarts, so that way they can be showcased for adoption, and you can go and spend time with the kitties and help clean their cages and make sure they're being socialized and showcasing them and showing them and telling, you know, people who are visiting about them, which I think is really fun. You can also be a transporter. Dr. Pam's actually flown some of these kiddos in her plane, which I think is awesome. About a year ago, we did a huge transport up from Arizona, and Pam flew a bunch of them on her Romeo, which was awesome. And so you can drive places and go pick up pets and have them brought to CAUSE, or you can also transport pets for veterinary care at local veterinary hospitals that take care of these kiddos. And then they also board some of these dogs that aren't in foster at local veterinary hospitals, including the Utah Dog Park, and you can come and you can visit with these dogs, and you can go on walks and things with them as well. And then it just keeps going, their list of volunteer opportunities. So they also have a lot of like data entry and administrative help that they can use. So this is something that you can do from your home. Any little bit helps. It just helps them put in data and things and update things on their websites and get emails out to people who need them about adoptable pets. They also have a lot of trap and spay-neuter release programs for some of our feral cat colonies that you can be a part of. So you can help to coordinate the trapping of feral kitties and transporting for their spays and neuters, just to help try to minimize overpopulation within our feral cat communities. And then the last one, which I think is a really fun one too, if you're involved in any group activities like Eagle Scouts or a church group or a book club or anything like that, is they offer these group volunteer opportunities where you can collect pet food or pet supplies for the organization. You can, I've had kids groups that have made toys, which I thought was really fun experience. And then you can also do videos and other, pet awareness videos for them to use on some of their social media and things as well. And if you're interested in volunteering for CAUSE, one of the best places to start is getting on their website. So if you go to cause.org and then type /volunteer, that'll go into all of these volunteer opportunities, and their foster page is on there too, so you can see how adorable these kiddos are to foster. Okay. Any questions about local rescues? Like I said, this is just one of many. There are so many fantastic rescues in our area. Oh, a foster fail is when you foster them in hopes to find them a home, but then they move into your home permanently. Yeah. You keep them. Sorry about that. So this is a fun one. So one of my personal hobbies is running, and I love it. I'll run any distance, anytime, anywhere. And Utah is great because we have one of the prettiest places to run in the whole world. But they do some really, really fun charity runs, and a lot of them are pet friendly where you can actually take your dog as well. One of my favorites is Strut Your Mutt. It typically happens in October. This year it's October 12th. And it starts at noon and ends at 2. But what you do is you raise money as you're running. So you raise money in preparation for your run, and then it goes to a local rescue, which of your choosing, I think, which is really, really fun. And they raise quite a bit of money too. They raise thousands and thousands of dollars every year at this event. But this isn't the only one. Squatters does a dog run in the fall in September. There are a lot of other 5Ks and 10Ks that allow dogs as well. And you can run for any cause. My dogs ran for leukemia before. He thought that was fun. But I think these are just really fun bonding opportunities that you can do with your pet in pretty much any area that you want to do. And a great place to look for runs is if you just look up Run Salt Lake. Salt Lake Running Company has a list of a ton of really fun runs around our whole area. I'm a huge run nerd, so I could talk it all day long. And then, any questions about fun runs or things like that? I'm trying real hard. Becky, Fun Run 2020, we're gonna do it. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is one that I think every pet could benefit from, which is being a canine good citizen. So Canine Good Citizen is a program that was developed by AKC to promote well-behaved dogs in our environment. So these are a reward for dogs that have good manners at home and then also in their community. And it's a two-part program because it's as much about the owner knowing and understanding your dog's behavior and then also your dog's behavior as well. So it's a two-part system, and you really work as a buddy team as you're going through these scenarios. And it promotes really good pet ownership. It's a 10-part test, and after you pass the test, you actually get a certificate from AKC that your dog is a canine good citizen, and they have a little medallion that they can wear on their tags as well. And I think it's a really nice starting point. So this is one that when puppies come and see me, I say, okay, you go to puppy training and then you go to your advanced puppy, and then don't stop, keep going. Keep taking your pet through their training opportunities until they're able to go through Canine Good Citizen, because I think it lays the groundwork for those dogs that are gonna go on to more competitive obedience trials and things, whether they wanna do things like therapy work. And in general, just be a dog that spends a lot of time in their community. I like to take my dog a lot of places. I like to take him to Liberty Park and the farmer's market and things like that. And I just want to make sure that any dog that is in those situations knows how to adapt and adjust and is going to behave predictably. And this is a little kiddo that just passed his Canine Good Citizen. So who can participate? Anyone. You do not have to be a purebred. I know that it says AKC, but anyone can do this test. My dog is a Heinz 57, lots of different breeds and things, but he's a Canine Good Citizen. And they have to be old enough to have received their necessary vaccinations and their rabies vaccinations. You also have to sign as an owner a responsible dog pledge that just attests that you are dedicated to being a responsible pet owner, and then that you're also going to make sure your pet stays current on vaccinations and preventative care, because when our pets are in our community, we want to make sure we're protecting them and we're protecting every dog and human that interacts with them. And then they also have to have, with puppies, we know that their temperaments and things may change. So we'll be reassessing these dogs as they age and as they develop. So they're retested. Puppies are retested as adults. So there's a lot of good places to get involved. We have 2 AKC groups that I've listed on the screen. So we have the Golden Spike Dog Obedience Club and the Great Salt Lake Dog Training Club, which are 2 registered AKC obedience clubs. And then we also have a whole website that's an online website where you can search for local trainers who are evaluators for the Canine Good Citizen program. And they are everywhere, from the very northern part of Utah to the very southern tip. We have so many in our area. So really, I encourage you, if this is something that you're interested in, to get on this website and do a little searching to see if this is something that may be a good option for you. And then I also included the testing items for the Canine Good Citizen test in case anyone is interested. They do put the dogs through 10 different scenarios to judge and evaluate their behavior, including accepting a friendly stranger, sitting politely for petting, their general appearance and grooming, walking on a loose leash, walking through a crowded environment, the sit and down command, and they have to stay in place and they can't move, coming when called, a reaction to another dog and distractions, and then a supervised separation from their owner. So those are just a few of the testings, and if you get on the website too, it'll explain what they do in all those scenarios very thoroughly. And a lot of the evaluators too offer training classes to prepare you for this testing, where they'll walk you through all of these different steps and things as they train. All right, so any questions about Canine Good Citizen? Yeah. Yeah.
Away, and she was a trainer, and I know like she's a dual champion and all that, which doesn't matter to me, but I don't know enough about like AKC stuff to find out if she's ever gotten her CGC before.
Yeah.
I would imagine she would have, being that her previous owner was a trainer.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to go about finding that out. And then now, I mean, I'd like to have her do it now anyway, to be able to participate in like rally and even therapy stuff. But greyhounds are notorious for being drama queens when it comes to sitting and laying down. And so I'm just curious with that, because that's the one part of the test where I know she would have difficulty, because she does not like to sit or lay on hard surfaces.
And so they are so they have their set of requirements and things. So I would get with one of the trainers who does the evaluations to work through strategies on how to help to get her through these scenarios with minimal stress to get the desired behavior. The hard part too with knowing, I can't think of a database that they keep track of the Canine Good Citizen certifications. And honestly, just because she's new to you, I would retest with her anyways, so you've tested together, so you know her reactions in these scenarios as well. But I can't think of a database that we could search for that. Potentially if you started going through kind of Canine Good Citizen, you could potentially see if she has tested before and see if they have any record of it. But there's a lot of great trainers in the area. I mean, gosh, so many that I can't even think of. Like Lori Schlossnagel's fantastic. Kim Beck is another really fantastic trainer that's done. I know she does Canine Good Citizen. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, Casey's fantastic. Casey Owen was another. There's so many great trainers in our areas, and it's just such a nice, well-rounded training that's why I think it's just a great place to start, because if a dog can do these things, that's a really good dog. I mean, just a really nice dog.
Because she'll sit and she'll down, but only on her dog bed or soft surfaces.
So any questions today about volunteering with your pet, or does anyone else have anything that they do with their pet as a volunteer opportunity that they'd love to share with the group? Awesome. Well, we will be back. The schedule is going to be a little bit different for our next seminar, because I'm going to be out of town at a conference the first weekend in the first week of August. So I'm going to be back August 13th. This is a very hot topic in veterinary medicine. We're going to be talking about dilated cardiomyopathy, which is a type of heart disease in dogs, and grain-free diets. Bring your questions and concerns and things, and we'll talk a lot about this topic on Tuesday, August 13th. And If you need any food before you head home, we have plenty of food in the back. And Snout Stacks is set up right outside the door. Your pup will thank you, I promise you. Have a good day, guys.
You have something to say?